Hello, Star Wars fans. Hey, there's just 84 days until Christmas 2021. Today, I'm dressed up. I look more official. We've got a Santa appearance today, October 1st, 2021. Santa's going to be making an appearance. We're going to be on camera doing some recordings and things. And it's a good time to let you all know that I do virtual visits as Santa Claus for families anywhere. It's English only. So we have fans who speak French and other German, other languages around the world. And unfortunately, this Santa only knows one, and barely that one. So, if you are interested in getting a virtual visit with this Santa, then we will be sharing information on that on the channel as we go forward, and you can kind of get a glimpse of what it looks like rather than just the everyday kind of thing that I wear. I'll even here. I'll do this. Put on it. Yeah, help sell the look. So we've got some great things to talk about today. And of course, it is Friday, and we get to do this roundup with Meg. Hey, Meg, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. It's so nice to be back. Can I just say, when you put those glasses on, you just like took on the entire Santa persona. You know that old joke in cartoons where like you can't recognize someone the minute they put glasses on because it's ridiculous?
Right,
Well,
Superman
for
and Clark
you,
Kent.
it's literally that, like completely transformed from Brian to Santa.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It is
And you're looking very
fantastic.
good today.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And Nikki, this is my wife is here, right? There it is. I hit the wrong one. Let's see if I could get there. There it is. So I know Nikki and Meg, you two have made great friends. And I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but you two seem to fit along very, very well.
It's always double trouble when Nikki and I are in the chat.
It
Even
certainly
better
is.
when I'm on the stream.
Oh my goodness. So today is the Terrifying Tales was released, the Lego Star Wars special for the holiday special for this year. And I watched it this morning. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun and typical Lego kind of things. There were great callbacks to the original trilogy. There's one sequence in specific that I chuckled quite a bit at, and it was a lot of fun to watch. At the same time, it's kind of got the overarching Lego humor to it, and enjoyable for folks that aren't necessarily on the inside and get the inside jokes. So I had a great fun. We were just talking. You haven't yet to be able to catch the full episode, right?
Spooky. Spooky,
Spooky.
spooky. I haven't watched all of it, but it's cute. All of these Lego holiday specials are cute. I saw the one last year. I did a review for it. The Life Day one with
Oh, yeah,
Finn
yeah.
and Ray, and I thought that was good fun. But unfortunately, I've only watched about 5 or 6 minutes of this one.
Well, we'll
So
have
I'll
to
have to
get
rely on you and the people in the chat to tell me how it was.
and we'll have to get your review of it after you've gotten a chance to see the whole thing.
I might post one later. I
I
might do a
hope you
second video
do.
today.
Yesterday, was it yesterday we got a bonus Meg video, or was it
It was
Wednesday?
2 days ago. It
Okay,
was Wednesday.
it was Wednesday. When you get extra bonus Meg video, it makes your day extra special. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, so we'll look forward to getting that today as well. Uh,
Sorry, I just saw a comment that made me laugh. I really want to know, is Santa dressed up as a priest or religious person?
This is, we were talking about, I have a lady who makes some custom clothing for me, and it's Renaissance influence. So you can kind of see the laces on the sleeves, and here at the tie up in the middle there, in the collar. And the vest is also custom made with, it's got laces on it as well. It's a Renaissance kind of thing to kind of throw back to old world kind of look. I've got a hat over here. It doesn't work really well on the blue screen, but I'll show you all the Renaissance hat here
And
as
it
well.
jingles.
It does. It does. So what
And I know
we've
that
got.
I just said jingles, and I know Nikki's going to probably make a comment about that.
So so this is with the hat. You can kind of see it doesn't exactly work, but because of the blue screen. But there you have the more. I don't know if that makes it more religious looking or less. I don't know, but
You look great.
thanks.
You look like you could work in the archives at the Jedi Temple, if you know what I mean.
Yes. And and
Jocasta new vibes.
Dominic beat Nikki to the punch on the joke. So there you have it.
You got a license for those jingles.
I certainly do. I certainly do. We do have lots of other news to share. It is a big news week, and one of the items that was in your video today. There you go again.
Sorry, some of these comments are just so funny.
They're great. The chat in our videos is absolutely fantastic, and it's a lot of fun. And actually, you guys, the analytics that I get for these live streams is very, very strong because of the chat. It's a great interactive community. You guys do a great job. And I was reminded that I should tell people who are watching the video, please comment, like, share, all those kind of things, because I never say that stuff. And that's, YouTube marketing. You're supposed to say all that. It's just, I get caught up in the chat and the discussion, and I forgot about
And I'll
that
be
as
having
well.
Santa on my channel as well, which should hopefully, boost this community.
Thank you so much. Yes, we were just talking about that beforehand. We'll talk about it more here in just a moment. But Rangers of the New Republic, you mentioned it today on your video, and it's kind of made its way around the Star Wars community. Our friend Jason Ward told us, weeks ago, that Rangers of the New Republic is not canceled. In fact, he heard that they're going through rewrites, and it's going to continue further. So we've been talking about that here for some time, but it came back up, and it's become an item of conversation because there were 11 shows listed to come up, and Rangers of the New Republic, and that, I think it was Variety that posted it,
Yeah.
and it was there. So they're like, oh, wait a second, is Rangers of the New Republic? I thought it was canceled, and so there's some confusion in the community about it.
Yeah. Basically, the Hollywood Reporter, Variety, and Bespin Bulletin ended up picking up on it, but they're speaking about Rangers now very differently to what they were saying a couple of months ago. So the narrative went from Dave Filoni shelved it, it's out of active production, it'll come back into production when they know more about the story and how they want to build it after the Gina Carano thing. But now they're talking about it as if it's like it's coming up, it's pending. And what I think's happening is now that Boba, Andor, and Kenobi have wrapped up, and Mando's going into production last week, I think we're going to see a lot more talk about it, especially mid 2022. And as soon as The Mandalorian finishes, it's going to be Ahsoka, and then I can imagine them starting Rangers sometime after that.
Well, and that's what. Oh, and Nikki, thank you so much. And Kieran put a €5 super chat. Thank you so much for that, Kieran. That is very, very helpful for our channel. And we'll talk about some of these channel benefits as well. Much like the elves with benefits, which I can thank Meg for. We have members.
We need to make that put that on a shirt. Elves with benefits, part of the Christmas Santa collection.
I do hope to open a merch store at some point. But your merch store just went live again. And for folks who were dying to get a mega mug, like Santa has right here, those are available on the merch store in a variety of colors, right?
Yes, exactly. I think you can get them in like 15 colors or something.
It's fantastic. I actually like a lot of the new colors there, and there's a good variety to pick from. Kayla would like to get one, and I went to buy it, but then it threw all kinds of UK VAT taxes and shipping and stuff on.
Unfortunately, I'm working on that. I'm working on that because they have a British version and a US version, but for some reason I can only set up the UK version. So I'm either going to have to set up a completely different store, which is going to be for everyone, whether you're from the UK, US, Canada, whatever,
Right.
or I'm going to have to try and sort out the current problem with VAT shipping and everything because it is absurd. So
It was almost $30
yeah,
US to
it's
get.
ridiculous. I didn't know that when I set up the store
I was
because
like,
unlike Teespring, you can't set your own prices, so
oh,
they
I
do
see.
everything automatically.
I see. I see. Well, I fortunately I got mine on your old store, and I saw that people are now getting their new shipments of their mega mugs, and that's fantastic. So, and how do you become a member for the channel? YouTube has a subscribe button underneath, so you've got where you can subscribe, but there's also a join. And I know that some folks on certain devices don't get that join button. And so I put it in the description here as well. And I saw that we did have uh, Nikki put it in the chat. So thank you so much for that, Nikki. And you guys, Patrick became a member. Thank you. Really, that's the way that we build this community. Discord is really the central hub. And so if you guys, it's pinned in the chat here, join Discord. Meg's Discord is also a fantastic place to go hang out. Meg is active in there as well. And you can kind of get to know all these folks in the community. We have a lot of fun there. And I use our the revenue from YouTube to buy giveaways. We give away vintage collection, Black Series figures, things like that. And we'll talk about a Black Series figure here in just a moment as well. But yes, we did have Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net shared with us some time ago that he believed Jon Favreau was rewriting it. And to exactly what you just said, now that we've got many of these things already sort of queued up to get released, moving into post-production or currently in filming, then it moves up how much closer than Jon Favreau can get that script done. But there's also a bit of a worry, correct? And you brought this up as well.
Is this about the strike?
Yep.
Yeah, the strike may affect quite a few things. I'm not really thinking about that because we have so many great shows that are completely completed. But as I say, I do support, those workers because they make the shows happen.
Right.
And we don't understand the full story, but it's been pretty typical of Hollywood and these big production companies kind of taking advantage of workers, not paying them enough, making them work laborious hours for very little pay. So that needs to change in an industry that really is the future. And they don't have a good deal when it comes to royalties either. And
Right.
wherever you stand on that, you can't deny that these workers make these shows what they are, whether it's cosmetics, working the cameras, editing. It's all behind the scenes stuff. We give credit to the directors, the writers, the producers, the executive producers, the production companies, but we need to give more credit to these workers and stand behind them. That's my take.
Yeah, I agree with you. And what makes it more difficult is we're moving to a new entertainment sort of platform with all the streaming services. It's not like you can look and see how many tickets did they sell at the box office. And none of these streaming services are very transparent on how many people are viewing, how much are they viewing, how much revenue are they getting from a particular show. Part of it's complex, right? You don't know, are they subscribing to Disney Plus for the Marvel content or for the Star Wars content? If you've got people who worked on, let's say, the Book of Boba Fett or Mandalorian, how much of the revenue that Disney Plus is getting from subscriptions comes for that versus for What If in Marvel,
Yeah.
So there is a changing economy around that, and it is the new way. And I suspect we're going to have to see some regulation passed in different countries to force these streaming services to be more transparent. Because right now it's a big black box and nobody really knows what's behind it. There are some analytic companies that are trying to catch like um, IP addresses and things like that to be able to pick up on what they suspect, and they can extrapolate some data, but to really know is very difficult.
And it's very difficult to find any data of how individual shows perform on Disney Plus. I think, it took a lot of research when the Bad Batch was going on to sort of find anything which kind of projected roughly how many viewers per Bad Batch episode there were. But they've only revealed stuff for really big shows like Loki and The Mandalorian.
Right.
But yeah, as you say,
And
this new platform makes it a bit more difficult to really know.
and there's Mark stirring the pot. We now the workers on these streaming services absolutely deserve a living wages, a fair pay, all of that. The elves here at the North Pole have a good deal. Leave us alone. You
Typical corporate shell. Santa is completely capitalist when it comes to his own elves, but then he pays only lip service socialism to big production companies. Tut tut tut.
Oh,
I'm joking.
Tut, tut, tut. No kidding. No. Meg. Oh my goodness, Meg. Dominic, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate it. Meg and I have a lot of fun doing these live streams with you guys, and this is just a ton of fun. You guys, yeah. See there. See what you started, Mark. Now we've got Dominic on it. Oh, we've got.
Yeah, and Mark Hamilton. He's made to do all of these thumbnails, and he doesn't get any compensation.
Now you're letting another secret out. Let's see
Oh,
how
I'm
you are.
sorry. I actually found it quite interesting when I learnt that. Kind of just more proof of Santa's iron fist, which isn't like a
my
dirty
goodness.
thing, Nikki.
Oh, you're having way too much fun at my expense. Boy,
I'm sorry. And then you get flagged by YouTube controversial issues in this video, demonetized.
we'll see. There are a couple of issues that could get there. We got another super chat right there. Get some Skittles for the elves, Novak. Thank you for thank you for the Canadian super chat there. And I do want to talk a little bit about the other news that you shared today.
Yes.
We were talking about Koska Reeves being in the Book of Boba Fett. Now, there has been some discussion about how similar the cast is between the Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian, and how there was a lot of confusion over what is filming. There was rumors that the Mandalorian finished filming back in like May or April, and learned that that was the Book of Boba Fett that finished, not the Mandalorian that finished. But and it's still my belief that perhaps we see some of the shooting that happened with the Book of Boba Fett being opportunistic. You've got Koska there, you've got Din, you've got Boba, right? All the characters, the directors that we may already have put in the can, so to speak, some of the scenes from The Mandalorian. But The Mandalorian in earnest just started filming. And so you released this morning that Koska Reeves is rumored to be in the Book of Boba Fett. You want to share more about that?
So on the Koska Reeves issue, she has been very she was already doing this, promoting her character and being very proud to be part of the Star Wars family and being part of the Mandalorian. But she did kind of push the Book of Boba Fett on her Instagram page. And while you could argue that it was just solidarity for her fellow, workmates, her fellow crew,
Yeah.
It just kind of felt like there was more to it. And with all of the rumors that we had prior to the Book of Boba Fett, when even the cast themselves thought what they were filming in the Book of Boba was the Mandalorian season 3. Even Giancarlo Esposito basically confirmed he's in the Book of Boba when he said, "Oh, you'll get you'll get Moff Gideon in seasons 3, but it's only in season 4 you'll get answers." He meant to say that you'll see him in the Book of Boba Fett, which was called Mando Episode 1, Season 3, Episode 1, and then he meant to say that Season 4 was The Mandalorian Season 3, which is quite confusing, but so he inadvertently confirmed that, and then there were all the rumors of, or reports rather, of Bill Burr's character and Greef Karga and Cobb Vanth being in the Book of Boba Fett, because those were characters that had already done some work, which they thought was Season 3. It's actually the Boba Fett series.
That's
so
right.
Sasha Banks could be one of those.
I think the most telling was Ming-Na Wen saying that her script said S3E01, right? And she was several days or into shooting before she realized that it was the Book of Boba Fett they were shooting and not Mandalorian. Like she was she was already filming and didn't truly understand. So yeah, it was quite confusing, and a lot of folks kind of got those wires crossed. But this is pretty exciting. If we get Koska Reeves, might we see Bo-Katan as well?
I'm gonna say no.
Oh really? You think
because
just her?
I mean, no, like if you follow Katie Sackhoff on Twitter, Instagram, and all of those places, and because I do news updates every day, so people link me things and I see things, it just doesn't seem physically possible that she did any work for the Book of Boba Fett unless they managed to fly her out one day and they only needed her for a scene. I'm for some reason I see it as physically impossible for her to be in the Book of Boba, and it's kind of the same with Emilia Clarke's character Kira. For a long time we were speculating, is Kira going to be in the Book of Boba Fett? And one of the supposedly leaked titles is The Syndicate. And yet, unless these people are very crafty and very secretive, then it seems unlikely, but it's possible.
Yeah.
I could definitely see a scenario where Koska Reeves and the other guy, Axe Wolves.
Yeah.
I think they could show up without Bo-Katan. They could be like Bo-Katan and Din have gone to Mandalore and the other Night Owls are doing something else.
That's true. That's true, because there have been rumors of Din showing up. So perhaps Din with Koska and other Night Owls could absolutely be something. And Dominic brings up here, the elves should unionize, then strike. Well, as parents, you can use that as an excuse why your kids don't get Christmas presents, but don't throw it on Santa. No, Santa. It's not Santa's fault. To be honest, I did see there are all kinds of shipping issues going on in the world, and supply lines are all interrupted. Things are backed up, and if you are intending for Santa to give some gifts to your family at Christmas, you should be ordering those things sooner than later. If not, then perhaps the elves on strike becomes your excuse for why your kids don't get gifts from Santa.
Hang on, Santa, aren't you the one who does all the deliveries, or do you outsource?
There are all kinds of secrets at the North Pole that remain to be confirmed or revealed.
Maybe there's more than one Santa. In that case, this
is
getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
Excellent. Jocasta Nu confirmed for Mandalorian Season 3.
No.
No. I haven't
but
seen that.
There is some... I can't say anything.
No.
But not...
No.
Wrong show, but correct character.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel like Dominic has really caught on to some of my hints over the last few months, because I've seen him in the Discord kind of make connections to things I've said, and the fact that he knows Jocasta Nu, and I've seen him mention it a few times. He knows, but he just doesn't know when. There
you go. I'm getting caught back up in the chat. Yes, a big bag of coal for Meg, certainly. Because she's stirring the pot all the time, and if you've gone on to Meg's Discord, which if you're not, you should. But there is a channel in there where Meg earns all of the coal. Just trust me on this, right? There's.
Do you mean After Dark?
That's exactly what I mean.
It's a private channel that if you're lucky enough to be sent an invitation, you're in for some very, let's say, not safe for work Star Wars memes.
That's exactly.
And I think Dominic is leading the the battalion for that channel.
There are a number of you, and that are earning the coal, earning all of it.
Exactly.
There is so I saw that Mark posted something here. I thought I'll go ahead and bring it up now. There is and in the thumbnail, I thought it did a really good job of putting the George Lucas Stormtrooper right behind Meg, so that he's watching her, right? He's trying to keep her in line. Somebody's got to stand
I'm sorry,
watch.
Nikki's comment is just got me laughing. She says, I have this on mute because I'm in a meeting and it looks like Santa's talking to a picture.
Well, someday we will get a face reveal of
Yeah,
our dear
someday.
Meg, and then
It's
we can
better than
actually.
doing something else to a picture, but that's more for after dark. I'm sorry.
Yes, yeah, I can barely handle Meg's before dark. Right, you're
That's
exactly
what she
right.
said.
There you go again. Oh, oh my goodness. What am I going to do? What we need is a sticker on our Discord where Santa says, "Oh, Meg," right? Like,
Oh yeah. All right, that's the next one. I made an Astro Boy one because I know how much you love that character.
I do
Santa
not.
said to me once that he has two favorite Star Wars characters. One of them is Astro Boy. Do you remember what the other one was?
I can- it's a lie, whichever one you're going to say, because go ahead.
I think you said Rey, but you made it a
Oh,
thing to be like Rey Skywalker. You said
oh,
to me, it's not Rey Nobody, it's not Rey Palpatine, it's Rey Skywalker.
not
And
true.
you
Not,
said to me you really hope that they meet each other one day.
that's not
I didn't
true.
agree, but I nodded.
It's-
None of that is
oh,
true, by the way.
no, exactly. That's exactly right. Oh man, it's getting hot in here again. This is what happens. But Mark did bring up another point. The Razor Crests are shipping to the U.S. now, so hopefully we'll be getting those Razor Crest vintage collection Razor Crest models very soon. But
Mm.
this week they released the Black Series George Lucas as a special Black Series figure. George Lucas as a Stormtrooper. Did you get your hands on one of those? Pre-order one of those, or
No.
any interest in getting
But
one?
when you think about it, isn't that just like a final middle finger to George Lucas?
You think? Why so?
I mean, he didn't ask for it. Imagine his wife tells him, "Oh, by the way, George," because she like deals with all of this public relations stuff, and she's just like, "Oh, George, by the way, they made this action figure of you as a stormtrooper."
Hey, he might like it.
Maybe could be
I,
another log for the Christmas fire.
It could be. I think a lot of fans are super excited about it. Not only do you have Dave Filoni in a fighter pilot jumpsuit, but you get George Lucas in a stormtrooper, and I think the orders for that went very strong. I saw they sold out within like a half an hour, certainly under an hour. But I managed to get my hands on two of them, and I'm going to give away at least one, depending on our members and how we've got channel memberships going. We may give away both of them. So if you did not manage to get one and you would like one, if you are one of our channel members at the snowpack level or above, you'll be entered into the drawing for that. So you can look forward to that when those are shipped. It shouldn't be too long.
I do agree with Ronnie. Like, George Lucas wasn't a stormtrooper once. I think he was. He was in the prequels. He played a senator, like a blue senator,
Yes, yes,
whatever
he
that
was.
species is. They should have
Uh,
made that. I would have got that because it's prequels.
and they are selling them on Entertainment Earth. There's a couple of outlets in the UK that are still selling them as well. And I'm not sure if they're selling them as aftermarket or if they're actually, yeah, Pantoran, that's it.
Pantoran.
Yeah,
Is Entertainment Earth American?
I think it is. Um,
You guys have the funniest names of shops. It's like You want pizza? We've got a hut. You want entertainment? We've got an Earth.
Yeah. Well, there's another one too. It was Planet, right? Planet Hollywood. We had a planet, so
You want a banana? We've got a republic. I think that's one of yours.
it is. It is very good. Um, so what about this other story that came out this week about a reimagining of the original trilogy using the McQuarrie artwork?
I'm sorry. What is it?
You haven't seen this? So Ralph McQuarrie, right? His original artwork for Star Wars, that
Yeah.
everybody is familiar with.
Yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah.
There were rumors that came out this week that they were going to do an animated reimagining
Oh yeah,
of the
I
original
saw that.
trilogy.
Yes.
Yeah, using that art style.
Yeah, if you want cheesecake, you got a factory. Um, I honestly don't know about that. I think we've had so many of these kind of rumors. There was like a rumor of a Yoda series
Right.
a few years ago. I'm not
Yeah.
too sure about that. And there was even like a sequels animated series rumored last year. I
Well,
don't know until it
this
happens.
it's the same source that told us there's going to be a Disney Plus series for the Inquisitors. And while I'm fully in favor of it, I still don't think there's any confirmation of that actually come to fruition either.
Mm.
Um, I'm all for seeing an animated series in that style of artwork. I think it would be fantastic. A reimagining of the original trilogy, I'm not sure. Like, if it were to happen, it could be a lot of fun. But I don't know if it's worth getting worked up over yet because it's not even real.
No, we've had so many of these like clickbait titles over the last kind of year or so. It's like there's a Finn series, there's an animated sequel spin-off series, there's going to be an animated, original trilogy now. I don't think so. They might do something with that eventually, but that would just be a good guess.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, so that was
We do
good.
have a chocolate shop called Chocky Wocky Doodah. You can Google it, which is the most British thing ever.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Let's see. There's tons more news to get to. Let's see. I skipped over this one. Here's this will lead us into another bit of discussion as well. So there's the poster that came out this week of the Book of Boba Fett, the promo
Mhm.
poster.
Yes,
It looks great,
it
um,
does.
but
It
it
looks
raises
amazing.
several questions because his armor's kind of scratched up again. He just got that brand new paint job on it in the end of season 2 of Mandalorian. How did his armor get so scratched up all of a sudden? Or is that a before? Is it an after? It's hard to just tell from that picture where in the timeline it might happen.
I do have a theory. I think there's two possible options. One option is that it's not going to be a time jump so much as that is what Boba is going to look like throughout the series. If he's going to have run-ins with Bosk and Zuckuss and Cad Bane and all of these people, he's inevitably going to have shootouts. And we know the series is going to be all killer, no filler. It's going to be gritty. It's going to be darker than The Mandalorian. We had the stuntman, Brendan Wayne.
Right.
Is that his name?
Yep.
He was saying it's going to be gritty. We had Robert Rodriguez say it's going to be gritty. So that's one theory. My second theory is that there is going to be a time jump because I think The Mandalorian Season 2, and hear me out on this, The Mandalorian Season 2 really kind of they wrote themselves into a corner. I think they realized, like, how do we explain Grogu's story with our budget? How do we show the Luke and Grogu thing with the budget we have while still keeping it to The Mandalorian? Now, you might be wondering, how does this connect to Boba Fett? Well, we've had rumors of Grogu and Luke in the Book of Boba,
Hmm.
and we know that they're going to use the Book of Boba to bridge The Mandalorian Seasons 2 and 3.
Yep.
So my theory is that if that is the case, and we do see Grogu, it might be this thing of the Book of Boba explains either why Grogu was untrainable after all this time, hence why Boba has, the armor the way it looks, because a bit of time has passed, and we can see Grogu in a different in a different chapter of this book, so to speak. And I don't know if I'm making sense, but it's
Yep.
basically so that they can really progress the story forward without showing too much of the Luke training Grogu thing. And I'm
That's
still convinced Grogu's not going to be trainable.
I don't know if he's not trainable. I I think we're both sort of in the same mindset that he's got some PTSD going on
Yeah.
from whatever happened during those that dark time. Um, Whether he's trainable or not, or whether he chooses to, which is my opinion, he chooses to return back to Din without completing any training. I think that's where we're headed with it, following that Paper Moon outline that John Favreau said that the story was based off of. It would put him going back to Din without completing the training, or maybe without even getting any training. So I think it could happen very quickly, where Grogu would go back to Din and not be trained by Luke. However, the wrench in that is that the rumors have Luke and Grogu in here, and if there is a time jump explaining why Boba's armor is so dented or so scratched up again, then maybe Grogu spent more time with Luke than what I think. But I'm still largely of the opinion that we're going to see it happen sooner than later. That Grogu, Luke, and Din are going to be coming together because Grogu's going back to Din, um, and that doesn't necessarily have to be a big time jump.
So, knowing how Dave Filoni does these things, and I know he's not the only person involved, this is going to sound really crazy, but I'm like 99.9% sure Grogu is going to turn to the dark side. And the reason I say that is you're going to see a huge parallel between Grogu's story and Anakin's story. I'm convinced Grogu turns to the dark side and has redemption. And the reason I say that is, why did they make Grogu be born in the same year as Anakin? He's got the exact same traits that Anakin did that led him to the dark side. And it's kind of how Star Wars works. Everything parallels itself. And you see that in Rebels, you see it in Clone Wars, you see it in all of the properties that Dave Filoni has done. And as uncomfortable as that is, they're not going to kill off Grogu. They're not going to make it as tragic as it sounds. But I don't see him becoming a Jedi. It just kind of ruins, if we're not doing the whole sequel trilogy retcon through the World Between Worlds, because you've convinced me out of that theory. I used to have that theory, and you've
Right?
kind of convinced me out of it. If we're not going down that route and it does tie into the sequels, you can't have Grogu become a Jedi. It ruins everything.
Completely agree. Which fits into
Your
Grogu.
theory of Grogu becoming the Mandalorian.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's
Yeah.
going to follow Din and be part of Din's future, be it Mandalorian or just part of the of Din's family. Right? I don't know necessarily Grogu's story going forward, but I feel very strongly that he's headed back to Din before he finishes any kind of training as a Jedi. Maybe he does some training, but I think not. I think he's going to have a very short stay with Luke and go back. And this wonderful poster, which by the way, I put it within reach so I could reach it today. This wonderful poster, which seems to imply that he's going to get this yellow lightsaber. Meg's favorite lightsaber color, by the way. She told me that even though she created that video where she's complaining about yellow lightsabers, she told me privately that she loves the yellow lightsabers. They're her actual favorite. So
I'm getting a taste of my own medicine.
a little bit, you know. You see Luke there with that kyber crystal yellow, implying that Grogu would get a yellow lightsaber. I don't think that Grogu will get a lightsaber, and I don't think he's going to finish his Jedi training. I think he's going to return back to Din, and their story is going to continue forward in whatever path that goes. So, very good.
I will say, though, that I think a lot of fans are overthinking one very important thing, and that is Luke's arc. And based on what Favreau said when he gave that Good Morning America interview last Christmas, when he said we have to make certain things make sense, talking about what's coming. The sequel trilogy is, quite far away, but he is going to try and connect that. I bet you there's more to Luke's decline that we see in the sequels than just losing Ben Solo. And
Yes.
my theory is to do with his failure of training Grogu, and I do think Grogu is the catalyst for that in some way. Whether he leaves the academy and doesn't train and becomes a Mandalorian and goes back with Din, or he turns to the dark side, I'm convinced that they're going to try and explain Luke's downfall in other ways than Ben Solo.
I, let's be clear about one thing, RF's Gaming Channel. Santa doesn't have a fraction of the talent that Meg does in coming up with double entendres, right? And not a fraction. It's, it's, it's not a strength of mine. But any time spent with Meg, you quickly learn that Santa is out of his league, way, way out of my league. Which brings us to another thing. So we talked about the Book of Boba Fett. It's coming up, all killer, no filler, and that comes right after Christmas this year, right at the end of the year. That was the other part of that poster tease. It's going to be, again, on the Wednesday release schedule. And Meg and I talked about it just a little bit. During the Bad Batch, I would do the morning after rewatch parties. We had a ton of fun doing those, and with predictions and all of that. We're going to do that for the Book of Boba Fett as well. It'll just be on Wednesday mornings instead of Friday mornings. But Meg has graciously invited me to come over onto her channel where we can kind of break down the Book of Boba Fett episodes. I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely awesome. So I'll do like full episode breakdowns, and then either it's going to be pre-recorded or live. We could do I'll just raw review of it, just give more thoughts that are less kind of formatted, because usually what I do is quite formatted, and I think that'd be such a cool thing to do.
I'm very much looking forward to it, and we have some time to plan it before now and then. I'm super excited. Thank you so much for that invite. And so I thought this was a perfect time to kind of mention it in our discussion before we move on to another topic. Again, from your videos this week, and it's kind of made its way around. Mena Massoud as Ezra. There was an interview he did, and I can't remember the lady's name now, but she's done several lately where she's managed to get folks to kind of spill a little tea, right? And that's what happened here with Mena. That she was interviewing him, and he kind of put out there in a contractual kind of way, not saying something by saying something, right?
Yeah. He basically said, he was playing it off as if he hadn't heard anything, and he was saying, "Oh, I just wanted to put the idea of being Ezra out there in the zeitgeist because that's how Hollywood works these days." But then he said, "But I can't say any more." And it's like, well, if it truly was just you being a fan wanting to be cast, why would you say you can't say any more?
Right. By not saying any more, you've said a lot.
Exactly. And I would say it's more or less a done thing.
Yeah.
LRM Online get these things spot on. They were one of the first to be like, Rosario Dawson is Ahsoka. And a lot of people didn't like that. A lot of people did. But it ended up being true. And I think this is the same thing with the Ezra casting.
Yeah. And who better to get as Ezra than Aladdin? Because Ezra is
he's
Aladdin.
Brilliant. He's a brilliant actor.
And yes, he's also very good. And it's undeniable that Ezra is influenced by Aladdin. When we first meet him, he's a street rat, stealing food from the street vendors. It's exactly a remake of Aladdin, Space Aladdin, and the tie-in there, since he's kind of already has that personality of being Aladdin, to transfer that over to being Ezra, I think is very good casting. Very, very good casting.
Very good, yeah. And they look so similar. I
Right.
couldn't imagine anyone better.
I think he's great. There was that other guy that was really pulling for the job.
Rahul Kohli.
Yeah, Rahul. I thought Rahul could have done a great job of it as well. But either way, Mina's going to do a great job of it. And
I think Mena Massoud has like the youthful Ezra look, and Rahul Kohli's like a more mature looking Ezra. They both bring, I think looking at their acting styles, I've seen a couple of things by Rahul Kohli. I'm less familiar with Mena Massoud, but I've seen Aladdin, the remake. And I
yes,
must say, like, they would both bring different things to Ezra, which I would be absolutely happy with. As you know, and I know you are too, I'm a huge Rebels fan. It's one of the best
yeah,
Star Wars things ever.
yeah. Well, and pretty much all of the Disney Plus series that are exclusive to Disney Plus have a Rebels tie-in. And I know you're doing a rewatch. I've been doing some rewatch on my Discord. Folks who are kind of bracing for 2022, which is going to be an incredible year. I know you mentioned it again today. It's a golden era for Star Wars fans. It's absolutely going to be a tremendous year for Star Wars content, and the tie-in to Rebels is undeniable for all of them in one way or another. And you've got a great opportunity now because once we get to December 29th, it's all over. It's going to be new content coming at you at a very high speed all of 2022. It's a
Yeah,
perfect opportunity to a rewatch of Rebels, familiarize yourself with those storylines and characters because they're going to come into play for sure.
absolutely. And if you've not seen it, I urge you to go for it. I was a bit late to the Rebels party. I didn't really watch it till 2019 for the first time.
Yeah.
But when you get past like episode 3 of season 1, and you get to the path of the Jedi episode, I think it's called. When he hears Yoda's voice on Lothal,
Right.
when Kanan tells him like this is what all Jedi Masters have to do, and with their apprentices, like you really get hooked. So give it a chance, even if you don't like the first couple of episodes, because then it really builds up the speed. You get to meet different villains, and obviously there are some massive cameos in that
Yes.
series.
Yes. And I wholeheartedly agree with you. The first few episodes of season one of Rebels were very difficult for me to get through, and I quit on Rebels for a very long time after watching just a handful of them, maybe 3 or 4 episodes. And I was like, yeah, this show's not for me. Then it took more than a year for me to come back. Rebels had already finished by the time I started watching it, and I'm glad that I went back because it gets increasingly better as it progresses through season one, and by season two, it kind of gets into its stride, and it's all great content from there on. So, absolutely agree with you. Those first few episodes, look, maybe you love the first few episodes. If you do, that's great. But if you've stopped because you watched a couple and you say, "Yeah, this show's not for me," I agree with Meg. Please give it another try. Work your way through season one, and then decide. Like at least get through season one before you decide.
Season 1 is brilliant.
It gets really good halfway through.
Yeah.
So if you don't like the first half, at least make your way through the second half, and I think by then you will absolutely be hooked on it. And like Meg and I said, it's got
It's
great.
better than the Clone Wars, easily.
Ooh, there's a hot take. I don't know if I can go that far.
I would definitely go that far. It's
There,
less childish. I can't stand some of the Clone Wars. I love season 7, but when it comes to like seasons 1 to 4, I can't watch them.
season five of the Clone Wars for me is some of the best Star Wars there is, flat out. Not all of it, but some of it. Um, and season seven of the Clone Wars for sure I enjoyed as well. Um, I, I don't know if
Some
I
of the
would go.
characters are just weird. Like Obi-Wan just sounds like an American trying to be British, and Anakin's personality is just like, whoa, this isn't Anakin. This is Chad Anakin.
Chad. Oh. Meg.
I
Meg.
really,
Meg.
I'm not too much of a fan of a lot of the Clone Wars. I like the story though.
Oh
And
my
there was
goodness.
no Yaddle.
There you go. There's really the whole problem you have is no
Yeah.
Yaddle. Which brings us to another topic I wanted to bring up because we were I was live streaming earlier this week with Jason Ward, and you were in the chat, and we kind of touched on Grogu, and you later released your Grogu theory video. Sum it up for us real quick so we can talk about it.
So I basically said in the video that Grogu was the reason that Yaddle left because of his attachment to his mother. And I'm actually making a follow-up video as we speak, not as we speak, but like behind the scenes, I've got another video coming up which is called Why Yoda and Yaddle Were Rarely Seen Together, like in the same room sort of thing, apart from the Jedi Council. Apart from when it was like official matters to do with the Jedi, they would rarely be seen together. And if you watch The Phantom Menace, Yaddle is not there at Qui-Gon's funeral. She's the only Jedi not there at Qui-Gon's funeral. And even Wikipedia, just to double check I wasn't seeing things, confirmed this. She's not there at the Gungan celebration when Ki-Adi-Mundi and Plo Koon?
Yeah.
Stacey Tin, sorry. Mace Windu, they're all there. But Yaddle is not. And I've looked into this, and I have a few theories as to why this is, and it also connects to the theory video I made the other day, which basically says that because Grogu had very strong attachment to his mother, who I think was Yaddle, it kind of made it a problem for her to stay around prior to the Clone Wars, so she kind of stepped away from the Jedi Order to allow Grogu to do so, to progress in his training. And the reason why Yoda was allowed to stay is because he was the Grand Master. He had too much of a senior role. He couldn't just step away from it. That's basically the theory.
It's very good. And during the stream, you actually talked Kayla into this as well. That the name of the species is Grogu, and due to his PTSD, he was a bit addled, forgot his name, and kept hearing them refer to him as a Grogu. That Grogu over there, or let's give Grogu some drugs or whatever. That he picked up the name as the species.
Yeah. So this is something which I can't confirm. I don't, not because I'm not saying, I literally don't know for sure. But what I do know from interviews that I've done with a couple of cast members on The Mandalorian is that they were told from season 1, Grogu is the species. Like, they were literally told that the child is a Grogu by Jon Favreau. And, now that we know that Grogu's mind went dark after the Clone Wars, when Ahsoka kind of read his mind, we know that it's very possible he may have been kidnapped as part of the Empire's, scheme to kidnap Force-sensitive children, and they may have just labeled every kid by their species because they wouldn't reveal their actual names. So you could have had, this is the Twi'lek, this is the Grogu. And I think it's a pretty solid theory.
I think it is too, and it fits with the whole PTSD that I'm quite convinced he's suffering from. And yes, that was my phone. And how do I not like the prequels? I like the Clone Wars animated series really well, but those movies, without going too far off the ledge, and Meg is right there to defend them, and it's not smart for me to get into that argument while she's right there.
I'll defend every scene of the prequels.
She's
Whether I'm
literally
a picture
right there.
that's flickering or not.
Right.
I'll defend the prequels. I think every scene in the prequels is just perfect. Even the ones that are funny, that are ridiculously over CGI'd. It's George Lucas's vision, and you just got to respect him. It's the same argument I make for The Last Jedi, by the way. The reason I say The Force Awakens and The Rise of Skywalker were not good films, but The Last Jedi is a good film, is because it's like, people wanted certain things. I just see Rian Johnson's vision, and I'm like, it's so far out there, but it's original, and I had fun watching it. And
And
I know the man is an egomaniac, but it was fun.
I've already admitted that I am way out of my league it in comparison to Meg. So I'm not about to get into that, but I
Defends
like
the
Mark's
Naboo
question.
Medici. I
D
can actually
def
defend that.
Yeah, the
Okay,
giant
so
ticks
people
riding a giant.
focus people focus on the whole, I don't like sand. I don't know if he means the I don't like sand bit or the bit where he talks about dictatorship to Padme, but if it's going to be the I don't like sand bit, you need to realize that that was pretty spot on for what Vader would say. Think about it. This kid who's been kidnapped by these space wizards from a young age, he's been taken away from his mother. He had plenty of emotional issues by the time of Attack of the Clones. What else is he going to do when he's presented with intimacy? He's literally been indoctrinated to not have romantic thoughts, to go against like the human or biological desires that he would have. And the first time he's feeling love and romance for a woman, the first thing he can say is literally, I don't like that. Like he's literally contrasting it to something he knew growing up that he wants to get away from. It's like an awkward foreseeing of what Vader is. It's perfect. I mean, what do you expect him to be? Like Clone Wars Anakin? This complete Chad with all these pickup lines going, oh, I swiped right. What do people
Chadican,
think?
right? Like,
Yeah, he's not
but no,
swiping right on Tinder or left or whichever one's accept. And I don't know.
look, it's wooden dialogue. Maybe the line on paper sounds better. I don't know, but riding the giant tick is what we were talking about in the meadow. Right, like you're talking about them on, in the house there, looking over the little lake. Great, whatever. But riding the giant tick,
The giant tick.
yeah, in the meadow where he jumps up on there and then he falls off and he
Oh, you
plays
mean the
like it's really
sharks? The SHAAK, the little pudgy things on Naboo.
the giant ticks. Yeah.
They're not. I know too much about the prequels, but they're called sharks. And I mean, okay, but then you can say the same thing for any I don't know, like defend the puffer pig that Lando brought on board the Ghost in Rebels, or defend Yoda being green. It's the same thing. It's like it's part of Star Wars. It's just a
It's
creature. They were just having
it's
fun.
it's exactly. I you
Not all
know
Star Wars has to be Empire or Jedi. It can be whatever.
I, and RF Gaming Channel, you're right. Show me a Star Wars movie that doesn't have wooden dialogue, right? Like, yeah, there's some cringe dialogue in Star Wars. It's part of the charm that makes Star Wars what it is. Same with these creatures, giant tick or puffer pig, or any number of others that you could pick on. They're part of the charm of Star Wars. What we all love as part of Star Wars. So uh, I don't get caught up on those kind of things. Um, I just accept it for being part of the universe that I love so much, and it's part of as I just said, it's part of the charm to me that makes Star Wars Star Wars. So I'm good with it.
If you're going to criticize any species from Star Wars or from the prequel specifically, you should criticize all of the separatist leaders. There were so many pointless ones, but
Oh,
that was just for George to make toys, whether it was Newt Gunray or San Hill, the trade
well,
union,
or,
the
or
banking clan.
arguably General Grievous, right? General Grievous to me is one of the most pointless characters in the prequels. Um, he
Not at all.
well,
He's
I
foreshadowing. He's foreshadowing Vader. I think people fail to realize all three villains of those films, Maul, Dooku, and Grievous, they were all a foreshadowing of what Vader would be. He was each of those. He embodied each of those three villains in his own way. Grievous was the robot. Grievous was the robotic trapped person because he used to be Khalil. I can't remember
right, right,
Grievous's old name, but
right.
he was something else before Dooku rebuilt him. But he represents the trapped, coughing robot of a man, and that is perfect. It's all perfect.
I, it's it's I would have preferred to see one villain, say Maul, represented in those attributes rather than across three. Uh, and you sort of get a bit of that as Maul is revived after being chopped in half. And I get that it happened way after the movies were made, but you still get the intersection of a being with machine there, and him dealing with that. But that's me. That's and by the
But you have
way,
to remember these films are made for kids. Having three very awesome, unique villains is very profitable for George Lucas. At the end of the day, if we're being real,
I don't know if I would call them awesome, but yeah,
you don't like
they're
the villains of the prequels.
I don't care for Grievous at all.
Wait, so you saw Grievous, who has that ability to wield four lightsabers. You looked at Maul, who has that awesome double-bladed lightsaber. I almost said something very naughty. And you saw Dooku, who's got a curved one, lightsaber, of course. And you said you then looked at Kylo Ren and thought that was better than all three of those villains.
That's a great point. Better than at least two of them.
The
I
ability to
think
speak does not make you intelligent.
you set me up for that.
I
That's
did.
mean. That's mean.
I'm sorry.
Maul, I thought was great and underused. I thought the potential of Count Dooku was tremendous, and reading the novel and getting to know his character better, get more of the backstory and the fully rounded out arc for him is great. The movies underutilize him far too much, and then Grease, the most pointless villain in all of it. Um, as far as I'm just like the movies are concerned. Um, and I was going to say, by the way, in the Lego special that came out today, you do get Grievous's his name. They dropped that in there.
We might see Grievous's like shell or armor, whatever you want to call it, in the Mandalorian universe because Thrawn collected it.
Oh, well, there's a lot of discussion about Thrawn and what they may bring in from there. So,
Like we might just
hey,
see Grievous's head just planted in one of Thrawn's like art display rooms.
well, I was watching Star Wars News Network's live stream from last night, and they were talking about what's one of Boba Fett's guys, the guy with the turban on his head,
Oh,
um,
Dengar.
Dengar. Yeah, Dengar. Dengar was. There's some speculation that Dengar was in the sequels, and there's a backstory for him in the visual dictionary where they talk about there's a uh, in the scene where I think you see yeah, I hear you typing. Where
Yeah.
where he's
Oh no, I've seen that. I've seen that.
yeah, he's replacing his body parts with uh, robotic pieces to live further. And yeah, Lacey was like, "Yeah, no, I'm not buying it." But
No, you think they would have made it more obvious?
yeah, yeah.
Like if it was Dengar, at least try to make him look like Dengar.
Well, they're saying that he's been replacing it's sort of like Millennium Man. If you ever saw that movie with Robin Williams, I believe it was.
Was that in my
Where
lifetime or?
yes,
I don't mean that disrespectfully, by
no,
the way.
no, I know.
I realize how that might have come across.
That's okay.
It was from centuries yonder.
I
No.
love to tell the story that Kayla was watching the Jeopardy with us one night, and they talked about bringing back some stars from the '80s
Mm.
as guests on Jeopardy, and she said, "Is anybody even still alive from the '80s?" So we love to pick on her over that, and Kayla is just barely younger than you, so I understand what you're saying, but no, I think Millennium Man was made, Bicentennial Man. That was it. Um, he replaces each of his organs with manufactured organs, and he essentially lives hundreds of years, bicentennial, 200 years, right? And finds that anyway, it's an interesting story, but essentially Dengar is doing the bicentennial man deal there, right? Replacing each of his body parts, and the only thing that's left there in Rise of Skywalker is his head. The rest of he's been replaced. Yes, he would
It
be
doesn't even
really
look like him. I mean, not really. But Dengar
right.
does look surprisingly like Tamar Morrison.
Yeah. Well, an interesting. Oh no, that Colin. Hello. Thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. Come on,
Grievous
Grievous
is
is
the
the
best.
best. uh, if you say so, I'll let you guys. I'll let you guys have him.
Santa, what are your top 3 Star Wars villains of all time?
Top three. Well, Maul is fantastic. You have to include Vader for sure, and the granddaddy of them all, Palpatine.
They're all from the prequels.
Well,
I mean, Vader for like 5 minutes, but all from the prequels. See, Santa just admitted the prequels are the best.
what am I doing? Doing? Oh my goodness. There's one other topic that I kind of left. If we had time, we would get to it. And unfortunately, we've gone too long. So there's no time to
That's what
talk
she
about
said.
there's no time to talk about the last topic. We'll just no. That'd be rude. That'd be rude. There was some controversy come up this week. I saw X-Wing talked about it on one of his shows, and it made its way around the Star Wars fandom around the term Jedi being used as an acronym for some social justice issues. So the JEDI being, I'll bring it up here, is the acronym. And it stands for justice, equality, diversity, and inclusion. So it has to do with using it for a social justice perspective. It's not a Star Wars thing. They just kind of thought, hey, this is fun. This is an acronym. It means it kind of has this cool double meaning. But then the article came out this week to say that perhaps Jedi isn't the best term to represent all of the things that they want represented in that acronym. Um,
I
and it
just
gives,
think these people are getting their panties in a twist.
yes, I agree with you. And
It's
thank you so
absurd.
much,
It's
X-Wing.
like it's like at this point they're going to cancel lightsabers because they're phallic. Just like, oh, so Obi-Wan and Vader fought in A New Hope. Well, that's just too, they're going to use words like they're going to use their maleness to have a little
to have a
dick
go at
fight.
each other.
Yeah.
I'm trying, I'm trying to stop you from going over the line that
Yeah,
you're
me
trying
too.
not to go
I
over.
couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I had to come out with it, Nikki.
Oh, you guys. There's a channel for this. It's on your Discord.
It is. I might make an actual YouTube channel called Meg After Dark. I've actually got some ideas drawn up for it. I have
And
on my notes on my phone, which is like 900 pages long. Every time I come up with an idea, however ridiculous, however whatever, I just type it in. If I'm going to use it later, if not. And one of them is actually making a third channel, which is
Nikki
Meg
could
After
co-host
Dark.
with you on your
Oh,
and
she'd be a
getting
regular.
exactly. Oh, it would be terrible. Well, it'd be
Meg,
great.
don't lose your sense of hummus. I'll never lose my hummus.
Never. Uh, you're
Humor.
hilarious. Meg is hilarious, and I have a great time laughing at myself and her inappropriate jokes. They're hilarious. But yeah, this whole bit here, they're talking about. There you go. Where do I sub? You've already got.
I had
Oh,
Subway for lunch.
um, look, the acronym is fine, and it has this great kind of uh, uh, double meaning. But the talk was, does Star Wars, do the Jedi really represent all the things that they want represented by that acronym? And perhaps it doesn't completely fulfill that in a way that many people want it to, which got a bunch of Star Wars fans mad because Star Wars is uh, the franchise we love so much, and it has so much for everyone. At least in my opinion, I think yours as well, that it's not exclusive, it is inclusive. But to talk about the Jedi specifically, it is a religious group of Force users, and there are plenty of people in the Star Wars universe that are not Force users nor members of that religious guild. And so, from the perspective of it not being fully open and inclusive of everyone, uh, perhaps it's not the best representation for what they want to. Um,
So, like, why are they saying it's not inclusive? Like, what's not inclusive about Jedi? They literally had every species, every gender.
well, you could look at like Sharut, for example, right? Who was maybe a believer, but was not a fully fledged wielder of the Force, right? Um, so he wasn't a Jedi, yet he was a believer. Is it fully inclusive if it doesn't let some people be part of their guild or their religion if they are exclusive in that kind of way?
I mean, who cares?
Right?
That's my response. Like, who actually has time? I don't have time. Do you?
Right. No, I don't. And that's why I left it to the end, because I thought it's a bunch of silliness, and people kind of getting their shorts in a twist over something that, like who cares, right?
And they're not even Star Wars fans, the people who complain about this kind of stuff.
Well, and that's it. The articles written from people who are not Star Wars fans, who are looking at Star Wars and saying, "Oh, it doesn't meet the mark that I think it should meet," but they're not even Star Wars fans. So, you know, ah,
And another thing is like, you see a lot of this stuff on Twitter, especially when it comes to people like arguing against things in Star Wars movies that they're upset with from like a political standpoint or whatever. And it's like you go to their page and they're not Star Wars fans, not really.
right.
And
You're
I'm
exactly
not
right.
someone who likes to tell people you're not a fan of something, but they're not, because just there was this one guy who was complaining about Anakin on Twitter, and he mentioned Darth Vader and Anakin as if they were two separate like people, but like not in like a fandom like, well, they're not technically the same people. Like he genuinely didn't connect the dots that Anakin became Vader, and that
Oh,
was the giveaway that he was complaining about something he actually had no idea about.
right. Right. And I think I'm not into gatekeeping the fandom either, right? Like, people have different backgrounds, different experiences, and you have your own connection to that franchise that makes you a fan. Uh, we don't have to have the same views on all of the prequels or the as we've demonstrated here today. Look, we can all be fans, but when it comes to some of these other things, you're absolutely right. It's not gatekeeping to say they're not fans, because they're literally not fans.
Yeah,
I, I don't know how
just
else to put
just
it.
by the way they talk about Star Wars, as if they
Right,
know, and then they try and compare it to like social issues and other things, and it's like if there's an explicit thing in Star Wars that is genuinely offensive, if that day comes, then sure we can have like a conversation about it, and I'm sure a lot of Star Wars fans would call that out. But when it's like Boba's ship, or it's like really,
right, right.
there's just too many things that it's like who cares?
Exactly, and it's something that I, I make a point of trying not. I want to talk about Star Wars. I want to talk about the content of Star Wars.
Exactly.
I want to talk about these fantastic shows that are coming up, the movies, the specials, all of it. There is so much to love, and there's so much to get excited over and just enjoy. Uh, to
Absolutely.
to let these social things come up that people want to kind of drive wedges between people before. I just don't have the energy, time, or interest to do that.
No, and these people who get upset and offended, it's like they're not even offended. They just think like to get social justice points, they need to feel offended. And, you know, when it came to the Boba Fett issue, I'll always call it the Slave One. But there were, and when people like Star Wars fans who have channels were posting like, yeah, it's the Slave One, we don't need to change the name. There were all these people getting offended, being like, oh, but it's problematic, it's this and that. And it's like, are you even Star Wars fans? Like, shut the front door. You're not even a Star Wars fan.
You
Like, you
did a
can just go
great
to a
job.
page, like, you don't even know what Star Wars is. Someone even called it a Star Wars. Like, we collect them.
You did a great job of editing yourself there. It was fantastic. I've
How
got
do
to
you think
give.
I survived high school and university?
I had no idea. To be honest, I'm like, how? I don't. You had to. You constantly had to be in trouble. I'm sure of it. But
A few times. I had a few run-ins with a teacher. Not in that way.
oh, I got to go find Vito's super chat. I seem to have missed it. Let me see if I can get it in the YouTube dashboard here
No
because
super
it's
chats left behind.
no super chats left behind. That's right. I do want to go catch that because uh, I truly do appreciate the support. It means a ton to us here. And Vito is a great guy. Uh, we have similar views uh, on Boba Fett. He's way overrated. Boba Fett. Let's see if I can find that super chat. No super chats in the YouTube. The YouTube's not helping. I'll tell you what, Vito. If you just put it in the chat, just chat. I will highlight it and we'll talk about it because I'm going back even in the YouTube. Uh,
Actually, even when I was covering the Koska news, you know what the first thing I thought was is she goes up in the Book of Boba, people are going to complain again because I think she said something that people got all upset about on social media. And if she does appear in the Book of Boba Fett, it's just going to spark that again. It's always the same.
oh yeah,
And I was just like, oh gosh, okay. I just want
yeah.
to enjoy the characters. Like, I always get in trouble on my channel when I say things like, I liked Cara Dune, regardless of Gina, like in the real world. And people always jump on me for that as if I've said something against, like, I said wrong think.
Right, right. There, you said it perfectly. Wrong think, and you can't really take a position on any of these things without being wrong to somebody. Because we're so divided around the world on things that any statement can be turned against you from a certain perspective, and it's just again, I don't have the time, energy, or interest to do that. Meg, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? Please say
It,
Revenge.
it always flips between Revenge of the Sith and The Empire Strikes Back. It's always those two, depending on which is the most recent I've seen.
For me, it's Empire Strikes Back always.
It's just the
Consistently.
perfect Star Wars film.
It really is. And not only within Star Wars, but within film making as a whole, it was it still stands up. The Vader, no, I am your father is still one of the highest moments in all of movies. So
Yeah,
I have to
absolutely.
put it there. Vito. So the previous super chat was just a hello. Thank you so much, Vito. I truly appreciate it, and I appreciate you being here. Actually, you're well known across theory calls you out from time to time, and of course Josh likes to pick on the two of us, not being Boba Fett fans, but. So I'm happy to share that space with you. You should have Green Bear on when Book of Boba Fett comes out. Oh, uh, I don't know Green Bear's position on the book of Boba Fett, or on Boba Fett as a whole. So let's see. Roland, Revenge is his all-time favorite. And I see another Novak, best duo on YouTube. Thank you so much, Novak. We really, Novak, one of your Discord champions. And he's out there doing the work for you, sharing out your videos, and being a promoter of all things Star Wars Meg. We really appreciate you, our friend. Very good. I think that's about it for today. I think that's it. Meg, we've had a lot of fun, as usual. I always look forward to when we have things to talk about where we could come together. And
Me too.
you guys,
It's always a brilliant stream.
it's so much fun. And in the community, you guys make it great. You guys make it great. So thank you. Thank you all. Again, there'll be more information about doing virtual visits with Santa. That's coming. Today I have my very first Santa gig where I'm going to show up. We're going to film some things, and we're going to create some videos. I got a whole film crew coming. They're going to be more information on that, and doing virtual visits with Santa, where I'll be fully dressed up in my full apparel, and it looks a bit different than when I'm just sitting here in what did you call it, Meg? A generic sports sweater.
Oh yeah, I didn't. I think I said you look like a generic sports fan at a bar when you're just wearing a hoodie. But when this isn't even Santa's final form. Like when he's all dressed up, right. he evolves. It's like Vader without a lightsaber, and then he gets his lightsaber, and he's epic. He looks like the most he looks more Santa than Santa.
Thank you so much, Meg. Matt, a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. We love doing these. We love Meg and I have formed quite the friendship, and
Indeed.
We were talking about before the show how our families know of each other. We were talking in my family just the other day about you, and we're having a lot of fun. So people know who you are. My daughter took a little bit of time to come over and personally say hi to you before the show started. That was great. It was great.
Absolutely.
And another $5 super chat from RF Gaming. Disagree with a lot of people politically, but we come together, talk about the brand. Yes, that's absolutely true. RF Gaming channel. Even Meg and I have some quite stark differences in a lot of our beliefs and faiths, but we share a love for one another that we've made this fantastic friendship. So you guys are great.
And for Star Wars, and I don't speak about my political beliefs at all on my channel, and they'd probably surprise a few people, but at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about Star Wars.
Absolutely agree. Green Bear is a Boba forever. There was there was another and thank you for the super chat, Green Bear. I appreciate that. Meg, do you like Dragon Ball Z?
I used to watch it all the time with breakfast when I was a kid. It's very specific, I know, but
yeah, it's not part of my background. But oh shoot, I was thinking of something related to what you mentioned there. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone.
I think we're talking about how we can have differences in opinion, but love Star Wars.
It's true. It's true, and it's why we enjoy talking about the content so much. So, it's great. Daryl the Derelict. It's Miller time. Oh, Daryl, I don't know if you know. That's my last name.
Santa Miller.
Yes, Brian Miller with a Y, Brian Miller, and that's great. So Daryl,
Your name's Brian?
Yeah.
How many other lies have I been told by the council?
You knew my name.
I know. Yeah. I just love quoting the prequels.
I know you do.
In fact, both of us have names that are found in Family Guy. Because you're Brian and I'm Meg. We need a Stewie.
We do. Who's our Stewie? We don't have one.
No.
Maybe Sheev could be Stewie. She's
Yeah,
denied.
Sheev is a bit of a stewie.
Yeah.
Kind of quiet. He's really nice, but I think he's got a bit of a dark side, in the most affectionate way, Sheev. As Han Solo says, you're a wonderful human being.
There you go. Oh, you guys are great. Best unintentional pun ever. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. She gets it. Meg did get extra bonus points for supporting the workers. And,
Absolutely.
again, I'm exposed for my anti-union position on elf labor. Um,
And I'm
a, a,
pro-union, which
another stream
exposes my views.
another stream where Santa's capitalistic anti-union elf policy is exposed. So if you guys missed that, what was at the very beginning? So you
Because
guys,
you know what the North Pole is missing? A Bernie Sanders.
that's right. That's right. The elves don't even know who Bernie Sanders is. But they're kept away from social media and from television. So they're too busy working, making toys. They don't need to be catching political discussion on on the YouTubes. That's
And I've been to your headquarters in the North Pole, and I thought it would be as bad as not having TV, but it was worse than not having TV. They have Fox News. It's just like one step worse than not
oh,
having TV.
Meg. See, there we go. You made me say it again. So, you guys, thank you so much. We're going to call it here. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Meg, thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much, guys.
And you guys look for Meg and I to be releasing more videos as we get into the Book of Boba Fett. Come join our Discord channels. I've put links in the description here, and we could continue these discussions, and you can learn all about the Skittles in Meg's Discord. So you guys have a wonderful day, and you've been a blessing to me, and I hope that you have a blessed day, a blessed weekend. And until next time, my friends, Merry Christmas, and may the Force be with you always. Bye-bye.